What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing amazing out there today. I'm finally getting my voice back. I got a little bit sick and I've been out of commission for about like a week or so, but I'm excited to be back. I got my voice back and we're ready to go. But if you're excited about what I'm going to talk about today, and really what I'm going to go over is the art of, or kind of how to establish level 5 listening and why it sort of flips sales upside down and makes the process radically different than what's taught. If you're excited about what I'm going to talk about, just drop an excited down below. If you're joining me live, just give me a hashtag live down below. If you're joining me after the fact, give me a hashtag replay. And if you're, and I really want you to listen and pay attention to this, because I'm going to ask you at the end what your number one biggest takeaway is from what I'm talking about. And plot twist, I'm going to be testing your capabilities of establishing level 5 listening. So what we want to think about with sales is we're not coming into the conversation to be a people pleaser. We're not coming into the conversation to stab someone repeatedly with a knife, as they say. If they cry, they buy, and you keep stabbing them. We're not moving into a conversation to where we want to agree with the prospect all the time. So we're not in a position to where we're like, yep, I totally get it. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you continuously like validate everything they say. Because if we're continuously validating what they say and all we're doing is responding with, yep, that makes sense, then all we're doing is telling them that what they're feeling right now is okay and that they should be okay just continuing in the position they're in. So what we want to think about, and what I think about in the process of sales, isn't so much the idea of getting the close. It's not the idea of going for the yes. It's not the idea of finding the pain. What I want to think about in sales is establishing this level 5 listening parameters in your mindset. And when you think about level 5 listening, if you've never really heard this concept, what it is level 1 is ignoring. I'm just literally not listening to you. Level 2 is pretend listening. That's when you're talking and I'm on my phone, like not paying attention, just kind of responding like a robot. Level 3 is when I'm essentially only listening because I want to respond to give you my thoughts or my peace of mind on it. A good example of this is like politics. Someone says, I don't like that conservatives do this, or I don't like that liberals do this. And the only reason you want to respond is to give your peace of mind. You could care less what that other person said. Level 4 is you're an active participant in the conversation, but you're only really in your frame of mind still. Your ego's kind of still there. You're only responding because you sort of think you need to, but you're not responding because you really know how to respond or what to say. And that's where level 5 listening comes into play. Level 5 listening is where we get inside their heart and soul. We step outside of our own ego. We put our own thoughts and beliefs and model of the world in check, and we look into trying to understand the other person's thoughts and beliefs, their model of the world, how they came up to understand that model of the world, why they believe what they do. And ultimately, we come to a realization that there is no real right or wrong. I'm not right. They're not right. Everything right or wrong is subjective based on the model of the world you've built as you've kind of grown up and experienced the world, gone through tragedy, hardship, good things, and everything in between. And so when you think about establishing level 5 listening, and when you do this at kind of the masterful level, you kind of think of this as sort of a therapy session. And I know people in sales often say, you're not the therapist. You're not there to coach the person. But that's why nobody likes sales, because it's positioned itself to basically stand on its own island of ickiness. And that's how everyone sees it. Ew, I'm being sold. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy stuff. I mean, look at people who buy stuff on Amazon. If I look at my front porch outside my office, Steph has 57 boxes every day. She loves to buy stuff, but the second someone tries to sell her something, she doesn't want it anymore. And so when we think about this concept in therapy, what's happening when you walk into a therapist's office is you're having a conversation. The therapist isn't there to sell you on fixing your problem. The therapist isn't there to tell you they can fix your problem. The therapist isn't there to tell you to do anything or force you to make any decisions. The only thing the therapist is there to do is listen to what you're saying, ask strategic questions to understand the true meaning behind where it's coming from, and then connect the dots to repeated points of failure, like I talk about a lot. And this is the concept of level 5 listening. So as a therapist, your role is to uncover a very specific problem, to understand the strategy behind why that problem continues to present itself, and ultimately why it's sort of an unsolvable problem right now, and then help you come to the conclusion as to why you're unable to solve it. That's the role that we want to play in the sales process. We're not there to tell them to buy. We're not there to agree with them. We're not there to be their friend. We're not there to say, oh yeah, I get it. And they say, yep, I definitely know. We're there to ask very specific questions, and we're there to make sure the discovery process that we build is very thorough, and thorough to a point where you understand specifically what someone needs, why they need it, why they've failed repeatedly in the past, and ultimately their points of contention that are going to cause them to not be successful in the future. So instead of coming in, and I know a lot of us are people pleasers. I know a lot of us want to make that other person happy. We want to put ourselves in a position to where we have a good relationship. But that's where we shoot ourselves in the foot, because we're ultimately trying too hard to be someone's friend and not trying hard enough to be their coach. And guess what? This moves into the concept of the challenging leader. Because if you're trying too hard to be their friend and you're not trying hard enough to be their coach, well, you're not challenging their coachability. And if you don't challenge coachability, well, guess what? You get shitty clients. You get clients that are problems. You get clients that you don't want to work with. It's not their fault. It's ultimately yours, because you put yourself in this position to where you essentially accepted this human being that shouldn't have been accepted. Had you challenged appropriately and efficiently, you could have put yourself in a place to where this didn't happen. And ultimately what happens when you challenge appropriately and effectively, you reduce refund requests. You reduce the incidence of getting clients you don't want to deal with. And you ultimately put yourself on the trajectory to working with exactly the right people that are going to be perfect for you. So when you think about this process, it might seem simple, but in reality, it's quite challenging to actually work to uncover these specific problems. It's quite challenging to move yourself from the people-pleasing environment. It's quite challenging to remove your ego from the equation. It's challenging to put yourself in a place to where you no longer have your frame of reference and you're stepping inside the client's frame of reference. And that's what we kind of teach in the Compassion Conversations Sales Academy, how to remove yourself from that mindset. We have a 9-step framework where people will record a video, they'll submit it to us, we'll tell them what we think, what works, what doesn't work, and then we'll tell them to work on it more, or we'll say, hey, you're good, you've achieved mastery, move on to the next step. We'll review their calls and make sure that everything they're doing fits into this psychotherapeutic model of sales. This model is radically different, and it turns this entire industry upside down. And that's honestly why it works so well, because we're able to take the modern thought of sales, completely flip it upside down, and turn it into a psychotherapeutic system that plays deep inside the mind, the heart, and soul of your prospects. So if you're interested in actually jumping on board with us and getting into the psychotherapeutic process of learning sales, just comment me down below and I'll reach out and see if it might make sense for us to possibly work together. It might not. I eat my own dog food, so you're going to see my whole process as we go through it. But if you're interested, just comment me down below. If you're currently watching, let me know what your number one biggest takeaway is in the comments, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next time. But that's it. Remember, if you're interested, just comment me down below, and I will talk to you all later.